Our guest is Frank Bowen, and Frank has a really cool story that I can't wait for you to hear, but specifically he talks about his brand, which is all around faith, fitness, and mindset. You guys are in for a treat. Check it out. All right, well, welcome, Frank. Thanks for being with us. So this is going to be really cool. So just a little bit of background for our audience. We know each other through working out at F45. And how long has it been?
A couple of years, maybe 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
How many workouts do you have under you, by the way?
I just hit 700. So like 70,
I just
2 or
hit
3.
600. Dang.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited, as Ryan was just saying before we started recording, we're excited to have you, and we want to hear all about your story, your journey, and kind of talk to us about what you're doing today. But before we jump into that, tell us, where did you grow up?
So yeah, I grew up in South Georgia, down a dirt road on a farm.
Sounds amazing, by the way.
Yeah. It's like the very tip of Georgia,
Yeah.
the bottom southern tip, probably about 40 minutes north of Tallahassee, Florida. So nobody knows where Bainbridge, Georgia is, but if you know Tallahassee, that's kind of where we had to go go to restaurants and do things like that. And even then,
40 minutes?
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, we were kind of a small town.
Well, I don't know anybody that's beaten mine. 300 people.
Oh, okay. Bainbridge is a little more than that. Like where my dad lives right now, it's called Climax, Georgia. It might actually be like 100. I mean, it's a small little railroad town, but yeah, just out in the middle of nowhere.
That's cool.
But yeah, that's
quiet.
That's
You can
kinda
see the
where
stars at night.
Oh yeah, yeah. Flat land, a lot of farm.
Yeah.
My grandpa was a farmer. Kind of grew up, being under his wing, and I probably spent more time with him than I did with my own dad when I was really young. Yeah, it was weird. I'd love to be out on the tractor and the trucks with him, and I think some of my work ethic probably came from him, and I didn't even know it at the time. Just, the way he did things, and he was old school, would wear the khakis and a, button-down shirt, always tucked in, but he'd be out in the fields, getting dirty, but always look professional, as a farmer would look. So I think I just picked up a lot of stuff value-wise from him.
That's cool.
You grew up, how did you get to Arizona?
So I got to Arizona through Atlanta. So my first stop, like in my professional career, was up in Atlanta, Georgia. I had finished college, technical computer information systems. Kind of got into my IT career there, and we came to Arizona in 2017. So I was up in Atlanta about 12 years doing some tech work, and my wife has some medical things going on, or she did at the time. And we actually came out to Scottsdale, Arizona to see a naturopath. She was under some treatment for about 45 days. We were here in February, and it was felt like spring break, you know how it is here. And back in Atlanta, there was an ice storm. Ice storm in Georgia is like 2 inches of snow, but it shuts down the city.
Oh, wow.
So it was really nasty, crazy. But out here, we just kind of fell in love with the weather and just kind of learned a little bit about the area. And at that time, I didn't even know that my company had an office here. So we found out there was an office in Tempe, and I got to talking to that branch, and just it's all God, really. He made it happen. But the guy that was in the role that I was in Atlanta, in Tempe, said, "Hey, I'm about to leave. You should totally look into this. You guys could just move and relocate." And my wife's like, "You'll never leave Georgia. You just don't leave." And I'm like, "Let's look into this." And so we ended up moving in 2017.
2017. That is
been
so
here,
cool.
Been here ever since. Yeah. I love it here. We kind of miss the South. She misses parts of her home, like in Tennessee is where her family is. But, this has definitely become our place, and I love it out here.
Yeah.
And then, so 2017, was your daughter born here?
She was actually born in Atlanta. No, so she was born in 2011. So she was 5 when we moved here.
Okay.
She doesn't remember a lot about Atlanta, but yeah, she's pretty much an Arizona girl. So she's 13 now, so she's our only one.
And are you still with the same company?
Still with the same company, yeah. So at that time, I was kind of working only in the Arizona market as a audiovisual specialist, and I covered the whole state. I did leave in 2021, started my own business, so I decided to start my own consulting business. I left for 2 years, totally supported myself. It was a local business, and then I got recruited back in 2023 in a totally different role. The role that they brought me back in was actually my dream job at one time. It was a Western Regional Manager, which in 2021 didn't even exist. And I was like, it'd be cool if we did this, but it never materialized. and kind of got frustrated with some things in the business. And I'm like, I'm going to do this myself. And that's kind of where my entrepreneurial spirit was born.
Yeah.
But they did bring me back, recruited me back, and they formed the position. They were like, we want to have this new thing set up as a regional manager. The whole team thinks you'd be great. Like, what would it take to bring you back? And we started talking, and the rest was history. I really struggled with that because there was a moment in time I feel like I gave up and took a plan B.
Yeah.
Because again, I was independent, and I took a corporate job again. So it did bother me for a while.
I can relate to that.
Something clicked, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm learning a lot. Like, I'm traveling on a plane. I'm getting to talk to executives. I'm training salespeople. I'm a manager now. I never had really managed people. Even I didn't really have my own team as a solopreneur, entrepreneur. So it bothered me for a while, and then I'm like, you know what? They recruited me, like, and I took pride in that. Like, hey, they saw something in me that I was doing, and it was a step up.
And went back.
Yeah, right. No, it's all a ladder, right? We have to keep climbing the ladder one step at a time, a rung at a time is what we would always call it.
Yeah.
So over the last few months, it definitely changed, and I was like, okay, I was able to like really absorb it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Well, I know that feeling and you do too. Like, once you leave corporate America and you're on your own and you're doing your thing, like, you don't ever want to go back to that.
I didn't, but it was kind of the right thing for our situation, and at the time it made a lot of sense, and again, it was kind of a step up. But you know, you never really lose that, and I think that's what you can be, an entrepreneur. You know, the book Lynchpin, I love that book. If you guys have read that, I mean, that's what it's about. Is you can be an entrepreneur. You can work in a company.
Yep.
And not just be a cog. You know, you can be a linchpin, which really holds things together. And you know, you can have your own brand within the company, even though you may not own a business.
For sure.
So not everybody has to own a business.
I love
100% agree, and not everybody should own a business.
Yeah, it's hard.
But I remember when I worked in corporate America, I told my team, I said, I want us to look at this as like our own little Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Our little world right here is 16 people, and this is our shop.
Yep.
So I love that concept. And I think that's how you can be really successful in corporate America.
Absolutely. I mean, it's how you can set yourself apart to almost be indispensable. You know, you can, and it doesn't have to mean that you go against the grain or like break rules, but you can also be seen as somebody that's an innovator, that does think outside of the box and can, again, almost be indispensable in some ways. So yeah, that's kind of some of the things I started training my team on. So I have a team of 7 guys under me. We support the Western region. So I'm here in Arizona, and my team is, Texas, New Mexico, 2 guys in California, Seattle, and 2 guys in Houston. So like we kind of work as a team, but I started training them on a lot of those kind of principles, and it's really turned some of our business around, as far as leadership qualities and stuff like that. Cool.
What would you say that what are some of those things specifically that you're sharing with them and training them on?
Yeah, key principles. Man.
Yeah, so like we're technical sales. So, my guys, there's a lot of speeds and feeds and a lot of technical jargon and like things we have to know. So when we present something to a customer, we've engineered certain piece of equipment to work together, and that's fine. We need to know specifications. But in my opinion, what we were lacking is some of like the leadership skills, mindset strategies, and just things that you grow up with that's like a limiting belief. I talk a lot about that. It could be like leashes that we put on ourselves. Like some of these guys may be like, man, I've never made above $100,000, or I've never made 75, or whatever the number would be. Like I grew up, in my case, I grew up down the dirt road. My family were farmers. Like mentally, you can't make 150,000. That's a doctor. That's a lawyer. So you kind of grow up thinking that you have a limit on yourself because of maybe where you were raised or certain things. So in the sales game, it's the same way. So I had to we started talking about those things. Like, hey guys, each one of the guys has a budget. If my number for the region is like 3 million, each person has a segment. So they all have to contribute. So it can be pretty difficult to if they have a 500,000 budget for 6 months. So it's like, how do you overcome that? So we had to start talking about how to be a leader and putting some of the specifications to the side, and let's just talk about what does it take to become a better person and a better leader, a better man or woman. Chase the man, not the money. The money will come. The more we pour into ourselves, the more training, the better man that I become, the closer to God, the more skills, the more I invest in myself. Those things will come down the line. So that's kind of what we started talking about.
Yeah, I love that. It kind of reminds me of, they say that people, when they get their health in check, right? They get physically fit and all of
Yeah.
that, their business also coincidentally does better too.
Sure.